Welcome to the Recovery Roundtable podcast, where the journey to sobriety opens up through powerful discussions and shared experiences. Join your host, Mark, who will bring you stories of triumph and resilience from the heart of Pacific Shores recovery. Every episode offers insights and support, guiding you through the challenges of addiction recovery. Thank you for joining our community. If you're ready to start or continue your recovery journey, we're here to inspire and support you. Let's explore recovery together.
Long time no see, man. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Really well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on. We started a podcast and have just been getting the messages out there of people who are doing it and loving their life and what's going on. So you immediately came to mind. I know we've been keeping in contact via email and just seeing your kids progressing in hockey, your coaching and your work life, just everything going well. So wanted to check in and kind of share with our people of what life is like when you're working a strong program of what we call the recovery way.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we'll go Quentin Tarantino. We'll start with now, and then we'll reverse and go back in time. What's life like now? How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Yeah, it's crazy to think it's been a year, or I mean over a year, but yeah, no, I'm doing really well. It's like I would say, once the 6 months hit, then once 9 months hit, and it just, I mean, it's getting easier, but I mean, it's not easy, but I think I'm learning how to handle it a lot better.
Yeah, well, yeah, this life thing's not easy.
No.
But it is so much more enjoyable and the different things. So yeah, time has a way of just keep going on whether I'm ready or not. And so you mind sharing just some of the wins? I know you've been sharing with me via email of just, man, it sounds like your kids are thriving and work's going well and the family's doing well.
Yeah, they're doing very well. We had a really, really good hockey season. Probably the best season I've ever been a part of in the association we're in. My kid had a phenomenal season. Um, he was relatively healthy all season. He only missed about 2 weeks for an injury, but other than that, he was healthy. He played awesome all year. He led our conference and our section in every goaltending statistic you could lead it in. I mean, the kid just killed it this year. It was so awesome.
You sound like one
I got back on
proud
the ice. It
dad.
was a little slow. Yeah, I am. It was a little slow going right away for me for practice after getting my other hip done, but as the season went on, it got a lot better, and now I can skate almost like normal like before. So that's really good too. That really helped me a lot. The hockey thing helped me a lot in my recovery because it kept me busy at night, and it kind of kept me accountable because I can't be showing up at practice drinking or show up to games after drinking and stuff like that. And like I said, this was by far the best hockey season we've ever had, and I know a lot of it has to do with because I was 100% sober the entire season.
Yeah, well, let's dive into that a little bit because you were always able to, from what you shared, to always be included in hockey, but it was a different experience back when you were drinking. And now that, because I remember you're saying how much more present you are, you're actually able to be there and to coach better and giving tips. And you just talked about you and your son's relationship really started flourishing. Can you
Yeah.
give a little bit more of
Yep.
that?
Yep. Absolutely. So prior to me quitting drinking, I mean, it's not like I did ever show up at that was one thing that I was actually good at was keeping my drinking away from my hockey. But I mean, it still did affect me on, if I drank a lot the night before and we have game the next day, my mind wasn't 100% there like it was this year. And my son he didn't have that anxiety that he had in the past seasons where he would tell me like, even though I wasn't drinking, like at the time during the game, he would still worry about how I would react to how I would react to a bad call, how I would react to, us playing like crap or whatever. He was just always worried about it. But now that this last season with me not drinking at all and it wasn't even a question, he knew I wasn't going to have any blowups or meltdowns or anything because all the alcohol was out of my system. I was just there. I was more confident. I was much more easygoing with the kids. My mind was sharper as far as like the technical and tactical sides of coaching. I made much better decisions. So yeah, just all around. I mean, that this season really it really brought me and my son a lot closer. We were close before, but that really helped. Yeah, well, it brought my whole family closer, you know, because my wife and daughter come to every game and stuff like that, and we're always traveling on the road together. And I mean, they noticed it too. Just I'd come home from practices just happy. Just I'm usually pretty happy now. I don't usually get too wound down, I guess. But yeah, no, it was just an amazing season. Me and Ryland's relationship is so much better. It's just great.
That is awesome, and that's a part that a lot of people miss when they're in the midst of it, of kids are resilient, and even if you're physically sober in that moment, like you said, his mind was on dad's reaction while he was on the ice, and it affected his
Hmm.
playing. And we've heard that in so many different areas where even though the parent is there physically, if they're not there spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, it takes its toll. And it sounds like you've been able to connect in such a way where you said it's the best season your son has ever had.
Yeah, absolutely,
That
hands
is
down.
awesome. That is awesome. And so the whole family is still going to the hockey games, and it sounds like it is a pretty enjoyable experience, regardless of what's happening on the ice, just with everybody being
Oh,
their best selves.
yeah, absolutely. Yep, and we're playing some AAA hockey now. I'm coaching my own AAA team. We actually got a tournament this weekend in Minneapolis we have to go to, but so that's been going real well. Um,
So when you say you're coaching your own team, you mean you're playing too now?
no. This is my AAA team. It's for Rylan and his
Okay.
buddies.
I thought so, because I know when you had
No,
this when you had the surgery, you said I'm off the ice for a while, and I know you're a coach, but okay, thanks for clarifying. I'm like, dang,
yeah,
that is
no, I'm not.
impressive.
No, my playing days are done with my hips. But I still go on the ice when I coach, you know, for practice. I'm on the
Yeah.
ice all the time with them, but I can't play like a full hockey game or nothing like that.
Well, that was part of it too. I remember when you were in our virtual program that even though you were on the ice, it was very limited, and that you were talking about some of the pain and different things. And I would imagine that would negatively affect coaching to where now you're out there actually leading from where you live.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I missed 2 practices this season,
Man, so
which
you're healing faster too, it sounds like.
yeah, usually when I was drinking, I'd miss more practices than that. Like there'd just be some nights where I wouldn't go if another coach was for sure going to be there. There was none of that this year. Totally
Yeah.
different mindset.
So it sounds like you and your son are getting much closer. What about the rest of the family? How are those relationships looking now?
We're all much closer, especially me and my wife again. We're really back to being really close like we were before my drinking got bad. I mean everything. We have conversations now. We eat family suppers together. We go in our hot tub together. Me and my wife have our intimate time together, which definitely is much stronger now than it was before. I mean, pretty much every aspect of our relationship is better. My daughter, her anxiety has went down so much since I quit drinking because she has kind of my anxiety, but
Hmm.
she was really always really anxious when I would be drinking that I was gonna like again how I would react to certain things, and now she doesn't have to deal with that because I'm not drinking. She's much more at peace knowing that her dad's not just gonna lose his mind at any given second, you know.
And this is the part, I mean, as dads and as men, the leader of the family, we want to know we are protecting our family. And a lot of the times when we're in the thick of it, we don't understand. We don't see the correlation of how what we are giving is trickling down. And so from what you're sharing is your son would experience the anxiety on the ice, your daughter would experience the anxiety, and this was when you're still physically there, and you're one of the fortunate ones that we work with a lot of different people. You were still involved in the family. You were still there. I remember you even saying, even at the worst, your wife was fully supportive of you, which God bless her. That is
Yeah.
incredible. And then now recognizing this. So if you're cool with it, I'd like to visit some of those stories. Did you realize that when you were drinking, or was there kind of some minimization of like, oh, she's got anxiety, he's got anxiety, but not seeing that direct correlation of none of that has to do with me. I'm still here showing up.
Yeah, I minimized it ridiculously. Like, as long as I was physically there, I felt I was fine, and as long as I wasn't doing anything stupid. But I never put it together that my drinking was causing their anxiety for that. Like, they did worry about me doing something stupid, or else even, I tell them, I'm like, I haven't done anything dumb for a long time, or but the fear was always there because they just never knew. And it took me forever to realize that, this is affecting them. It's not just affecting me. I'm causing them unneeded hurt and anxiety that I don't need to be causing them, because it's not fair to them. They didn't deserve that.
And were you able to realize that at the time, or was it more of as you were getting some time sober and in the virtual program of starting to reflect and work on these relationships that really started to become apparent?
I think I realized it at the time, but I didn't wanna hear it. It wasn't until, yeah, when I was going through the program and when I got sober, when it actually finally started, like, clicking with me, like, see, you can see the change in the relationships. So that is direct evidence that, yes, my drinking was affecting their mental health. No matter how much I try and say it wasn't, it was. So,
Yeah,
I mean, the proof is here.
well, and it's beautiful hearing you share that. And thank you again for just being so open, because when we are in that pain, we tend to distort and kind of delete some of the things that are going on. And it takes us going through that process to get to the other side where we can look back and say, oh my gosh, because I hear this all the time. My drinking is not affecting anybody else. Why do they care so much? And then once we start to break it down and look, it's kind of like, wow, they care because they love me and they want what's best for me. And when I show up at my best, it actually paves the way. They show up at their best. And so it sounds like the family, and I always love the intimacy part too, because we hear that the intimacy is so much better. It's like, yes, because that's what makes us guys drive. And I love hearing that. So that's
Mhm.
family. One of the other things we go over is the the five foundational freedoms is finances. Obviously, you don't have to share numbers, but what is your career and your purpose like right now?
Um, well, finances, I don't know how much I mean, obviously I'm saving money by not drinking. Saving It's definitely makes it easier. Um, I did get finally put into a supervisor role at work, finally, a couple months ago, once I was getting close to a year sober, which was a big deal for me because I've always told them I'd be a good supervisor. I just think maybe they didn't trust me at the time, but I finally am in a supervisor role now where I oversee people. And so that was a big change. I was pretty excited about that.
That's huge. Yeah, one of the things I remember that you're working on was those first several months. You're getting feedback of you were actually getting there early. You were I remember you're
Mhm.
talking with friends and engaging, and I think you said your superiors kept telling you like, "Hey, we see the change. We see you showing up," and you were getting this positive reinforcement, which is
Yep.
beautiful. So within a year, you're a supervisor position now.
Yeah. It's
That
crazy.
is awesome. And then
Just over a
what
year ago, I was in California, and now I'm finally a supervisor at work.
Oh, that's beautiful. I am so glad to hear that. One of the other things, which you kind of already hit on, we talk about fitness. I remember, I think you had one surgery and then you had another one right afterwards. Is my memory correct? Didn't you have both worked on?
Well, I had the first one done before I went to California,
Right.
and then I had the other hip done when I got back.
That's right.
So
And
yeah,
that,
I had the hip surgery, but then I actually did undergo a rib procedure shortly after too, from my rib injury from my car accident. So
okay.
I have had a couple things done, but yeah, I've had to. It's been a kind of a long road for that. I go on my bike a lot. I got a Peloton at home, and now we finally are getting nice out up here in Minnesota, where we can go on our. We got all nice Trek mountain bikes where we go on. So that's definitely coming around. I'm not any heavier than when I quit drinking. I can tell you that much. I know that.
Well, I
I mean, I
remember.
don't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I remember that was one of the goals too, is to get on the bike and ride, and your heart has always been in the ice, which growing up in Orange County, ice hockey is not a big thing out here, so I got to hear and learn a lot from you.
Right.
And it sounds like now you're fully skating, you're lacing
Yep.
up and you're getting out there, getting to coach. So it sounds like your fitness and your health has really progressed as well.
It's much better. I have my annual physical here next week. No, the week after. And I'm going to be curious to see what my numbers come in at for all my labs and stuff. Because last year I had it in May. So it was about 2 months after I quit drinking. And they were already improved from the year before. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to be this year now.
I'm
Just all
excited
your
for you.
numbers. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. My family doctor was very, very happy for me. She's commended me numerous times when I've seen her.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing too, is when it's qualitative like that, you can literally see like, hey, here's how my insides react when I'm not putting poison in it. Look at these numbers. Like it's
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I love. So I definitely am excited to hear how that goes. One of the other aspects we talk about is faith and spirituality and time of solitude. How has that changed for you over the last year?
I think I'm definitely much better at it because I can slow myself down so much now, and I make myself do, like, I still do my stuff, in the morning. I'll jot down a gratitude list every morning. Um, what else do I do? Some other things. I read an excerpt out of Tony Dungy's book, usually around lunchtime. We physically going to the church on a Sunday, we're still not the best at, but we do a lot more stuff as a family together now to include our faith. Like um, my wife has gotten more involved with like the church and stuff like that now. My
Wow.
daughter's getting more involved. We're just like all around slowly becoming more like that. And my son, well, my hockey team this year, my AAA team I run is actually through a Christian-based academy. Ryland made one of their teams and then they asked me to coach it. This is this team I'm on right now. And it's kind of crazy because like I have to do devotionals usually after every game, depending on how the game went, but we'll do that. Like we're pretty faith oriented now, honestly, between the being in that new academy and then with everything we've done in the last year. I mean, yeah, we're pretty solid there. I
That's,
recently lost an uncle like a month and a half ago.
I'm sorry to hear
He
that.
would have been my mom's older brother,
Yeah.
and my mom was the only one he got along with. So he made me his like power of attorney and executor and everything. So I had to like his end of life. I pretty much was there, the only one there for him. And then once he died, now I'm still closing his estate, doing all this stuff. And like I told my dad, I said I could have never done this if I was drinking. It's
Yeah,
so
what
much
an
work, and like
honor.
there's a lot, and yeah, it's been great. So it's been almost like it's tested me when that happened, and just me how good I handled it and how well I was able to get through it for my uncle, to be there for him and like take care of all his affairs. Um, I took over his bills. I took over, and he lived 4 hours away, so I had to go up there, go to the bank. I had to take his four-wheeler and his vehicle home because he ended up paralyzed before he passed away. And oh man, I've done so much, but it's been actually a really crazy experience doing something like that. And it's, yeah, you're correct. It's an honor because I was close with that uncle because he was the only one that was close with my mom. So it's been pretty crazy growing up a
Yeah.
little bit after a guy quits drinking.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing is when we show up fully present in all areas of life, people see that and they no longer have to go off of what we say. They're able to go off of what we do. And then because of
Mm-hmm.
that, it opens up these types of, I mean, you talk about, and that's why I said the first thing that came to my mind is what an honor. A final wish is I have so much trust in seeing the change
Mm-hmm.
in you that I want you to oversee all of this while I'm getting ready to go home. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to talk about how much can change in a year once a person says, you know what, I no longer have a desire to continue drinking. I want to be able to address what's going on and to learn how to change at the core, like at the spiritual level, and then getting to see the fruit so fast. And I know some people might say, well, a year's not that fast. Well, sure it is. If we're to live into what, 86, 87 years old, I think is the average male lifespan these days, it's like 1 year is a very short amount of time. So what a beautiful blessing. And then
Mm-hmm.
the fifth and final foundational freedom that we talk about. And for a lot of guys, usually they have the most resistance, but you jumped right in, is the foundation of feelings, and doing that journal and the gratitude work, and
Mhm.
actually speaking to our significant other of what we're feeling, what we're thinking, no longer shying away or sedating. How are you doing with your emotions and feelings these days?
Much better. I'm in much better control of my emotions. Um, like just for example, I never got one bench penalty all season, which that's never happened to me because I always usually get at least one or two where I bark back at the refs too much and they piss me off. I didn't get one of those this year. It was awesome. I don't even think I made a ref mad this year.
You're like, just for principle, this is our last game. Bench me.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
getting one. Oh, that is amazing. So not just in your morning reflection time and seeing it with your family, but when basically the skates hit the ice, which is where the feelings really come up, you're
Mhm.
able to still train yourself to be able to come from a cool, calm place to make sure that you're getting done what you needed to get done.
Yeah, and that definitely contributed to one of the best season our best season ever. Was
Man.
that for sure? Yeah, I was pretty proud of that. I made it through the whole season without getting a bench penalty, so that was good.
So this is, and man, thank you so much for sharing all this. This is one thing where a lot of people early in recovery kind of struggle, like, well, what's the point to getting sober? How much change can it really make? And it sounds like your one decision to do the daily work 1 year later, not has just positively affected you, but your son, the entire hockey team. You're now being asked to coach
Yep.
additional leagues, your daughter's anxiety, your level of intimacy and connection with your wife, your faith, you're doing more. I mean, this is the part that I love because this is the ripple effect. People
Mhm.
see and watch, and even when we don't think people are watching or we don't know the reach we have, people see that. They see how we change as human beings and go, you know what? If they can do that, I think I can. And it leads to these beautiful things, such as a family member reaching out and saying, hey, I don't trust anybody else. I want to trust you because of what I've seen happen. So
Right.
there's so
Absolutely.
much going into that. That is awesome. So if you don't mind, what are some of the things that you're doing on a daily basis that continue to lead you down this path of purpose and just uh progression?
Well, one thing, I'm taking it all in with my wife and kids because I feel like I'm not making up for lost time, but I think I missed out on so much that I'm just enjoying every freaking day with them and just being there, whether it's watching TV with my wife, because I never used to do that before because I was always on my garage drinking, watching TV with my wife. We bought a hot tub for my all my injuries, and me and my wife go in there every night now together and sit for about a half hour. We talk about our days. I mean, just being present with my kids and wife. I love it so much now. I didn't have that before. I always isolated by myself and just drank in my garage because I was so miserable. So now I actually have the companionship with my family. Another thing I do is that I'm actually really good at it. Um, I will reach out to people like from my hometown or people that I know that either are trying to quit drinking or have recently quit drinking. I've actually made like, oh God, I bet at least a half a dozen new friends who I wouldn't have called friends before, of people that have quit drinking recently, like either from my hometown or from here. And I've had people go up to my dad from my hometown that I've reached out to like on social media, and they've told him like how much that meant to me that I reached out to just offer an ear or offer a voice or an empathetic opinion on it or whatever. So yeah, I bet I've had like six people I've been messaging with that have quit after me or were trying to quit that I've told my dad like they're just amazed. So that's pretty good when people that I probably wouldn't have called them friends before, maybe just acquaintances, and now they like actually look to me for if they're having a bad day or something. You know what I mean? It's pretty awesome.
And that is a beautiful thing to hear, of how, as we continue to listen and to learn, we then apply it to live it, then we can go and lead. And so the fact that you are sharing so openly, and this is what I love, and why I'm so glad. I mean, we're kind of slowly, we've been doing this for a quarter of a century, but we're finally starting to see the stigma start to lift, where it's kind of like we can actually be vocal about it, and other people go, wait, you too? I'm that way. And then it sounds like there's 6 or 7 other people that you're regularly just planting seeds with, and it's making
Yeah.
a life change for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Man, well, that is awesome. I am so glad. I know you're super busy. I know you got a lot going on. So the fact that you're able to take this time to jump on and just kind of check in to say, hey, it's been over a year. Just want to let you guys know what's going on. It has been an honor just getting to see it. And thank you for shooting me those emails from time to time saying, hey, we just won. I'm back doing hockey again. Like those things keep lighting me up and keep me doing
Oh,
what I do.
absolutely.
And now it sounds like it's happening to you, where people are giving you feedback and keep you doing what you're doing. And this is how we make the world a better place.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. No, I
Well, you,
love
well, you got
it.
it, Dom. I look forward to keeping in touch with you. Thank you again. I'll end with this. If someone's watching this that might be in the pit of pain and not
Yep.
understanding or thinking kind of that rationalization that we tend to do of like, well, it's not that bad, or, well, I don't have a wife and kids or whatever it is. What advice would you give them if they were at the start of the journey and thinking, I don't know if I could do that or if it's worth it?
Oh boy. Um, well, obviously I didn't know if I was gonna make it right away. That's why I went to California, was because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. The thing that kept me going, obviously, was my wife and 2 kids, because I knew there had to be something better than the way I was living. Like I could have been in some sort of denial saying it wasn't that bad, but looking back at it now that I'm on this side, like I could have been in some serious trouble really, really fast with my health had I not stopped. Because looking at now at the amounts I would drink compared to now I don't drink anything, I don't even know how I functioned. Like I don't know how I was able to come to work and work all day. Like now being at work sober, I don't know how I did it before. So like I don't know. For me, it all, it was just finally one day I had enough. But I knew I had the support. I'm trying to think of the right words to say for somebody that's like stuck where I was. 'Cause I didn't really have anybody that gave me where it was. And I'm really big on faith, and I tell everybody this, that I truly believe that my late mother had a hand in getting me there.
Mm.
Like, I don't know if I had a dream that night or what it was, but when I woke up that next morning, I was bone and determined that I was going to go to treatment. I was done drinking, and that's what happened. Like, I almost feel like I had a little intervention and some help from up above to get me to go over that hump and finally just do it. I had nothing to lose. If I would have kept on the path I was going on, I probably would have ended up dying eventually, sooner than later, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, then
And
let's
that's
first of all, I think that's beautiful. Let's rephrase the question. What do you wish someone would have said to you?
hmm. I wish the people that did try and maybe reach out to me or open my eyes, and this does not include my wife because I think I just was not listening to her message anymore, but if it would have been the right person that would have actually just told me in like if they sat down, like if somebody was like you're saying, if somebody was in that pit, if I were going to sit down with them being sober for a year, my approach would be a lot different than the approach that I was getting before I made that choice. I grew up in a family, it's a lot of tough love, and it was pretty much, what the hell, do you have no self-control? How
Mm.
stupid can you be? You're ruining your family, that type of stuff. I would tell anybody, either if you're gonna give a person advice that's in that hole, you have to be very careful about how you go about it, because you could push that person further away. And I feel that there was a few people that pushed me further away, when in reality what I needed to hear was I needed to know that I had somebody like supporting me and to tell me that I'm not a bad person.
Mm.
I have a problem. I'm not a bad person. So I think that I would just want somebody to be positive. Like if I was sitting there again at the beginning, I would just wish somebody would have been empathetic and understanding, and but still telling me what I needed to do, but not the Jesus Christ, you can't control your drinking, you have no self-control, that kind of, if that makes sense.
Oh,
I don't even know if I answered
100%.
your question, but
No, I love the way that you shared that, because it's coming from a place of not shying away from truth, but bringing truth with empathy and compassion, as opposed to
Mhm.
truth with blame and finger pointing. And that's a thing that a lot of the times is missed, is a person
Mhm.
doesn't know how to share that. So it's kind of like, well, don't you want something different for your kids, which adds more guilt, adds more shame,
Yep.
adds all this, as opposed to, we love you, we care about you, here's some of the actions that we're seeing, and we want to help. Here's what we can do. We'll put you in contact with the right people who have been through this, who can help you through this. So I think you put it eloquently, and that is why we do what we do. So
Absolutely.
if anybody ever needs help, I mean, we run a treatment center, and so we are here to help. Also, I don't know, I think this came out after you graduated, but the book that I had been working on actually came out and is now on Amazon and going through. And we're finding this is actually helping a lot of people too, that aren't sure if they need treatment or not. They're actually just reading and finding out, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Like
Right.
other people feel this way, and that's the biggest thing, is truth plus empathy and compassion, knowing you're not alone, you're not broken, you happen to be suffering from something that is creating more pain, and we can help you through.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know your book was out. I'll have to order it.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting getting to see. I'll just share
Absolutely.
real quick. One of the things that you said, of when you just kind of reaching out and then someone comes up to you or tells your dad like, "Hey, Dom really helped me because of this," and you had no idea, you were just doing what you felt on your heart. I was at my kid's school maybe about a week ago. One of the dads came up and said, "Hey, I saw one of your posts that you had a book. I had no idea. My mom's been drinking a lot, and so I got her the book, and she said it helped so much. She had no idea that other people were going through it, and talks about guilt and shame. And so that moment, kind of like, just by being public about what I do and just saying, look, I'm here to help, actually help someone that I would have never even known that needed help. And so I want to encourage you and anybody watching this, if you need help, reach out. You're not alone. If you are in the other part where you're helping people, just keep sharing that information, keep sharing that message, because you never know who you can reach and what life you might end up helping save.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, beautiful. Thanks again, Dom. I appreciate you. Awesome to hear of your growth, and look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Yeah, let's stay in touch, man. Thank you very much.
You got it.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye. If you are wanting more real-time secrets and tips on recovery and sobriety, follow me at Pacific Shores Recovery on Instagram. So that way you can get real-time updates of what's working, what the best type of habits are for long-term recovery, and creating a fulfilling life.